What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Creating Wealth Podcast, where I, Kyle, from Kyle Curtin Real Estate, interview local top dogs in the real estate investing, wealth building, and personal finance industries. Let's build together. What's up, guys? This episode of the podcast features a guest with an absolutely extraordinary story and an unbelievable skill set for motivation, self-growth, and doing really big things. There was a ton of super great, mind-blowing information. In this episode, we get into the extreme importance of creating a healthy mind and body, constantly climbing the ladder, and investing in an emerging industry. There is an absolute ton of value in this episode, and I hope you enjoy. Let's jump right into the episode. What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 33 of the Creating Wealth Podcast. Today, I have the great pleasure of interviewing Doug Connolly. He is a union electrician, electrical apprentice teacher, investor, fitness extraordinaire, and entrepreneur on his way to reaching financial independence. What's going on, Doug? How is everything going? How are you?
Hey, Kyle, thanks for having me on the show. Looking forward to this. I've been waiting for this for a little while, and thanks for the introduction. I love all the kind words and everything, and we're just rolling with it. I've been an electrician for about 14 years now. I've been teaching it for about 10. I just enjoy teaching people stuff, and like you were saying, health. I've been on this fitness journey for about 17 months now. Back in December 2019, I was pushing obesity, let's call it. I was way overweight, high blood pressure, high cholesterol. Doctors wanted to put me on some medication, and it just wasn't for me. I wanted to stay away from the pharmaceutical, putting a Band-Aid on a cut. So we just started rolling with it and eating better and just getting into fitness.
That's really incredible, man. And I can't wait to kind of, post some of the progress pictures that you've sent me. They're honestly out of this world.
yeah, they're wild, man. I almost can't believe it myself. You see yourself every day, so you really just don't recognize it piece by piece. But when you start to see people you haven't seen in about a year, I've dropped down from 228. I'm 5'3". I'm not a tall guy. Down to 148. I'm not doing anything extreme. I've changed my diet. Keeping it real simple is what I do. I don't get extravagant. I eat, we're probably like 90% plant-based right now. I eat a lot of fruits, a lot of vegetables. I'm mixing the natural foods, nuts, yogurts. We do a little dairy, a lot of fish, a lot of chicken. I stay away from the beef and the pork, and it's true what they say. It's 90% diet, 10% the exercise, and I just enjoy running. So I've been packing in the miles this year, man. I've been pounding the pavement, let's call it. Getting out there.
So totally, man. That's crazy.
yeah, it's incredible, man. You watch your blood pressure drop just from re-sculpting your whole lifestyle, and back in December 2019 is when this started. So I dropped alcohol out of my diet too. That was kind of a New Year's resolution thing for me. We dropped that out after about 3 months. I was like, I don't think I'm ever gonna drink again in my life. I might as well take a $20 bill, put it on the table, light it on fire, and just financial freedom. There's no room for it. It's every dollar counts when you start to invest in. When you get your body right, you start to think correctly. So you start eating these proper foods. You get away from that processed, ultra processed, GMOs, all the American diet. Let's call it. It's it's there's no profit in healthy food. So people want to just continuously. Fruity Pebbles, there's a lot of profit in that because it's nothing in it, nothing good for it. So, but it's different, it's definitely a lifestyle change when you're cracking an avocado in half at lunch around it. I'm a tradesman, so I work around a bunch of construction workers and an incredible group of guys. But these guys got, we all weren't on the best diet. I wasn't on it for years. I'm in my mid 30s, and I spent 35 years building that body.
Yeah.
It's going to take more than the 17 months to drop it off. But it's you just got to keep your mind right, and just constantly be climbing that ladder. The ladder never ends. It's you think you get to the top and you're successful, and you're doing great. Don't get me wrong, but then another rung grows on that ladder. Something that I like to keep in mind is kind of quote I made myself would be, fear is mental, man. Pain is real. Doug Connolly. It's people fear it. Fear getting out there, and until you actually feel that first pain of doing that first run, you're actually accomplishing something. And it's been quite the road, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I can imagine, man. Was it like pretty difficult to kind of, hear the news about, like your blood pressure and stuff to kind of make the
Yeah,
transition into,
yeah,
like,
it
was it
was.
heavy in the mindset?
Yeah, it was scary, man. So when I first went, they checked your blood and all that. And when I first went, the lady was like, "Hey, you're in like stroke category 1 right now. I don't want you to leave my doctor's office without taking medicine." And I'm like, I'm just not a big pharmaceutical pill guy. I'm like the whole natural way of things. We were
Yeah.
made to, Joe Rogan says it best, man. We're hunters and gatherers. We come from, we should be climbing mountains and walking prairies, not sitting at cubicles. And, I do a lot of walking at work. We're tradesmen, I'm in big buildings. But yeah, it was pretty heavy to hear that. It's scary, man. I'll be honest with you. I didn't sleep good for, a few weeks because you don't know if you're going to wake up in the morning. It's like, your
Yeah.
heart. I'm over here checking my pulse at nighttime, and I had to get a blood pressure machine and monitor it for 30 days. And, they wanted to see results. So, and of course, just like the rest of most people, you do it for about a week or two and then you give up on it. I went back to the doctors, she wanted to do another checkup, and here we are again, same road. So she gave me the prescription. I went and filled it. I had it in my drawer for about 3 months and never took one though. I was like, man, I got to do something different. And right around Christmas time, man, my wife was like, we gotta start working out. She saw an old younger picture of herself and got pretty motivated to, start changing our ways. And you just get that comfort level, and we just started, started one day at a time. That's all you can do, and you're gonna fall off the ladder a little bit. Your road's gonna curve. It's gonna be bumpy, but when you actually go back to the doctors and these results come in, you're like, holy shit, this works, and
Yeah.
like, everybody's like, what are you doing? You're like, I drink a gallon of water a day. I eat fruits and vegetables. I got a little regime I do. I like to run, so I get a lot of running in, I get a lot of cardio. I'm not a big fan of just sitting in the gym and lifting weights. It's not for me. I do, certain standard of push-ups and stuff like that every night. And, I was watching Biggerpockets once of this. You might have seen this episode. Everybody watches Biggerpockets.
You're right.
Ed Milet was on there, and he was talking about how he used to set goals in life. And when you hit that goal, you kind of stop. So he started setting standards. So now I make things standard in life. It's a standard. I do 200 push-ups every night before I go to bed. It's a standard that I work out 5 days a week at least. I like to take the weekends off. I don't work on the
Yeah.
weekends. I want to work out. But, you're doing stuff around the house. So I try to do certain amount of try to do 100 flights a day. I got a Fitbit, so I track all this, and it's kind of interesting to see the data too. You're like, holy shit, I did 7.5 million steps last year. It's like, it's incredible. Or they give you these cute little badges on the Fitbit. So I got this awesome. The other day I did, what did I get the other day? I'm an astronaut. I got 28,000 lifetime steps. I've walked to the moon, or I've climbed steps to the moon. I'm like, wow, that's cool. I walked across the Sahara Desert. So
Yeah.
it's interesting, man.
That's wicked cool. I feel like it's really like necessary to kind of have that measurement too, like the metric, to kind of
Yeah,
see like, kind of see where you're at, like if you wanted to hit like a certain amount of steps a day, or like the 200 push-ups every night, like the standard, like have that number,
Yeah,
so then like, like, oh, tomorrow I got to do this and this and this and this. And it's the same like binary thing.
you need it. You got to keep, it's simple. If you got to keep disciplined in life, and you got to keep patterns. Patterns are huge. If you can keep a pattern or a system, and if it's working for you, keep it going. Don't drop it. You know what I mean? There's some nights, don't get me wrong. Like we talked about, I teach down at the school. So I've been teaching electrical apprentices for about 10 years now. And I truly enjoy it. And you're sculpting the future. These kids
Right.
are,
Yeah.
if I make the kids better, then all it's going to do is help me. I'm young. I'm not going anywhere in the trades. I enjoy what I do. I'm an electrician. I'm a foreman on site. So I run a lot of guys underneath me. A lot of young kids, they look up to us older guys to educate them, and so down the school, I get out of class at like 8, 10 at night. By the time I roll home, shower, all that, it's 9, 9:30. I wake up at 3:30 in the morning for work. I like to have a little coffee time before I leave. So you get home at 9 o'clock. The last thing I want to do is push-ups before I go to bed. And you got to try to utilize your time too. I hear a lot of people like, I don't have time to work out, and don't get me wrong, it's hard, man, to push it in there. I say it every night. I don't know how. I don't have any children, and I don't know how people with kids can get stuff done. So, I get out of work at like 2. Class starts at 4:30, so I'll utilize that time. I've been changing and going for a run. I've been running through the UMass Boston campus, man. It's fun. The Harbor Walk, it's phenomenal. It's a beautiful route running along the water and stuff, but it's you got to keep those patterns. If you can't keep the patterns, man, you're going to get off track. And a good example, if a plane leaves Boston and it's heading to California, that thing gets 1 degree off track during that cross country travel right there. You're going to end up in Mexico. You know what I mean? So you got to set back on course. And there's injuries along the way are going to happen. I got I'd say 6 months into that journey, I hurt my hip pretty bad running. I pushed myself a little hard, and so I couldn't run for a little while. But we utilize the time to do other things, and read some books. Get the mind going, because the next step to keeping a healthy thing is you got to have a healthy mind too, man. You got to be able to control that. You not get your emotions to overrun you. You're not stressed out. And so, same thing with exercise. And a couple of years ago, I got into investing. So that was a huge accomplishment that I really wanted to learn about, and self-educated myself on. But there's so much good material out there, so it's awesome.
There really is, man. I love how kind of like well-rounded you are in terms of like, the investing mindset and the fitness mindset, and like it's just really cool to see like, how effective it is, and like, different parts of your life and stuff, and like just the growth and stuff, it's unbelievable. It really is.
It is. It's awesome to watch it happen. And, my wife every day is like, this is crazy. Even people I haven't talked to in a couple of years, I'm giving them stocking advice, and I've been learning for, I don't know, maybe 2 to 3 years. It all started reading Rich Dad Poor Dad. I think everybody started with that book. It's a nice read. It makes you want to drop everything in life and go flip houses and get into sales. Which when I read it, they're like, settle down. You can only do one thing at a time. But yeah, you gotta. I think that well-roundedness really helps out too. And it all goes hand in hand, because when I'm out there running, my mind's clear, so I can start thinking about stuff. Or I'm listening to music. It goes hand in hand with it, though. You got to keep a good, healthy mind. But investing is it's becoming like a passion. I enjoy it. There's so much to learn, and it's so much to take in. But when I started the electrical trade, I didn't know anything about it. I couldn't tell you how it worked, and you can only take it one day at a time. We have a code book to follow. I had to learn everything in that code book to teach. And so same with the investor. When I first started getting into it, the first book I read after Rich Dad Poor Dad was Benjamin Graham's Intelligent Investor, which it's a good one, man. It's an awesome book. It's Warren Buffett's favorite buddy. You can't go wrong when you're dealing with Warren Buffett. I mean, that guy, he ran a fund for 40 years. That's done a 20% growth year after year. The guy
Yeah.
started out selling golf balls and Coca-Colas and packs and stuff when he was like 8 years old. And the guy, what, 91 years in the market basically now, but yeah, that book was good. It was, when I first read that though, it was like reading something in a different language to me. It took me a
Yeah.
long time to read that book, and now looking back on it, I truly understand it. I get it. It's, value vested in book, but what they're trying to say, you're buying $1 for 60 cents, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, that book is absolutely incredible, man. I read that one honestly in relatively the same kind of position. I think for me it was like a couple books after Rich Dad Poor Dad, but still in like the
Yeah.
very, very beginning, and getting through that book, it was tough. Not gonna lie, but because
Yeah.
there's so much to digest.
Yeah,
But
it is.
like once you start to pick off like the principles and like even like little sentences here and there, like just think about it a couple times, like that changes things. Like
It does.
I know at least for me, like that built a foundation, that
Yeah.
like got into stocks and then, one thing led to another. Like that's kind of where it began as well, I mean, that book is something else, man.
Yeah, it is. It is. I got it on the Kindle, so I reference it every once in a while. Because I mean, there's still, that book was, I can't remember the exact date, but it's got to be from the 60s or 70s, I think, maybe even older. It's been a while, but there's still companies that are referencing that book that are around today. There's some companies that have been in the market for 100 years, 150 plus years. I
Yep.
mean, this goes all the way back to the East India trade and the stock market. It's been around forever. But I mean, the traditional S&P, Nasdaq, all that stuff. You got to keep it basic too when you get into the investing. I tell everybody, we never learned this stuff in school. The education system in America doesn't teach you how to
Yeah.
invest. There's no class on balancing checks or credits or finances.
Nope.
If that was the case, nobody would be in credit card debt. There's a reason that the average American's about $30,000 in debt and retires with less than $100,000 in their bank account.
Yeah.
It's a sad system that we have, but it's so easy that you can literally dump your money in the S&P 500 index. Just like John Bogle, the guy that really got index funds going with the Vanguard system. Guys, don't buy the needle in the haystack, buy the whole haystack. A famous quote from that guy. I mean, come on, we've all seen that one.
Yep.
It's on Instagram every day.
Yeah.
Somebody's posting it every day. And I mean, that guy came up with the simplest product out there. Why don't we just make this fund, low commission fund? You're paying, 0.015%. You're paying, $15 for every $10,000 you have. It's the S&P 500's done a 7 to 10% gain for the past 100 years. I mean, you're going to have, your 25% years. 07, 08, 09 was tough ones. The people, they panic though. Most of the time when people lose money, it's because they panic, and it's unfortunate. I'd love to see more people get into investing and managing their 401k portfolios, because it's not that complicated. And the other thing out there is the 401ks. You get a lot of these companies, the people that you're contributing a lot of your hard-earned money into these, and you don't even know where it's going, man.
Yep.
They bury you in these funds, these 2050 funds, because you're this age, 2055, or international funds, and you start looking at them, the commission fees are unbelievable.
Yeah.
You're losing more every week than you're actually contributing. It's crazy. It's like, you gotta, and it's I wish more people took it serious. And it's everybody to each their own, I guess, in life. If it's something that's really important to you, you can. And since I've been in the market, man, when that thing's red, I love it. Red day is a good day for me.
Exactly. I agree.
Yeah, it's like Nikes go on sale and everybody runs to Foot Locker. The market goes on sale, everybody pulls their money out, and I'm like, yeah,
Everything's on sale now.
Yeah, I mean, the market's all over the place right now. So the valuation's high after all 2020 and everything going on there. I mean, last year, a chimpanzee could have probably turned a portfolio 100% the way
Probably.
the tech stocks and the electric vehicles and everything. It was pretty exciting to be in and watch it though, and take advantage of it at least and build off of it. And I don't we get a little crazy, I think, with the NFTs now, which
Yeah.
I'm not really into that. I haven't touched on the cryptocurrencies much yet, and then
I haven't
nothing
either.
bad about it. There's plenty of people out there that love them. You can diversify your portfolio with them, but it's just not my type of diverse. But maybe in the future they could be the value of the future. Who knows? You never know. Everything's built off speculation, like when it truly comes down to it.
You're totally right, man. I'm kind of the same way with the cryptocurrency stuff. Like, I think it's really cool and everything and the technology and stuff, but I literally, man, like people have explained like Bitcoin and blockchain and stuff to me a million times. I still couldn't tell you how it works. I'm like, somehow there's a thing out in the internet and you use this kind of computer to go get it. And I'm like,
Yeah.
how does that make sense? Like,
yeah. I got no.
it's not tangible. It's not tangible either. That's what bothers me. My inexperience is ignorance, I guess. But
yeah, right. You like at least. They're calling it a commodity, let's call it, and at least with gold, I can actually hold it in my possession. And if it drops to zero, it still looks pretty when I'm looking at it, I guess,
Yeah.
But even some of the stocks right now are crazy. You got the hype stocks, Apples, the Googles, the Amazons, Facebooks. And don't get me wrong, those companies make incredible amount of money, but, you're basically, every dollar you put into it, you're lucky if you get a penny out of it just because it's overvalued, but they're great growth companies. So, it all depends on what you're looking for, how long you have at the market. But yeah, the cryptos, I'm still trying to wrap my head around. And
Yeah.
I see some of the big banks jumping on them. And, I don't know if it's a true intention where they think it's a future or they're just trying to take advantage of unknowledgeable investors. And, I just saw the other day, Fidelity's starting to open funds for 13 to 17-year-old children. If your parent, if your parent has the account with Fidelity, you can now get managed account by yourself. So that's going to be interesting to see how that rolls out, and maybe we'll start to teach. Maybe they'll have some classes. A lot of good tools on there and stuff, but. At the end of the day, if you don't know what you're doing, keep it simple. Stay in the S&P. Find some ETFs. The S&P is not the only one. They got some real good index funds and ETFs out there. Play the dividends. Get those things back, reinvested, drip them back into your account, and let that compound in interest. The eighth wonder of the world happen.
Of course, man. Yeah. That's what I first started getting into was like the dividend investing. I thought it was the coolest thing in the world, to like put in a principal and like have it grow, like naturally over time, as well as getting the dividends like quarterly or, by like twice a year or whatever. And, depending on what it was. But I thought it was the coolest thing in the world, like you set up your portfolio the right way, you could get paid every month. But I kind of realized, shortly after that there was a lot more capital to kind of get that the way I wanted it than I thought. So I was like, oh, okay, I'll probably have to come back to this at some point, but for right now, maybe not so much.
No, it's definitely, people live off dividends, in retirement, some people follow the 4% rule for that financial freedom. That's the goal for me is, the financial freedom. I got a certain age target I'm trying to get out of the rat race, put my W-2 away and, you got to diversify though. So, stocks are out there, I'm looking to get into some real estate, multi-family buildings, and same thing with that market, man. The houses are through the roof. If you had a truckload of lumber right now, you're basically a millionaire. It's like, I got a stage in at work. That's my plan table. I got a piece of plywood on the side of it with a light and an outlet, and I'm waiting for that thing to disappear one night. It's crazy, right?
I walked into work today and there was a piece of, just a plank of wood sitting on the bench. I'm like, dude, that's $100 right there. I'm like, you better be careful.
Yeah,
Can't look at
yeah.
a 2x4 the same way anymore.
No, it's incredible. I've seen the housing market just explode. So the multifamily gained 150 grand over the past 6 months to a year. So it's like, do you hold off to see if the market settles down a little bit? I mean, we know assets only go up in value, and with inflation this year, typically it's 2%, but this year, who knows what's going to
Yeah.
happen? They just flooded the market with those stimulus
Oh my
packages.
God. Yeah.
We see a 4 to 6% inflation. Our money supply in the United States has doubled since I think 2006. We've doubled our money supply, and our debt in this country as well. It's
It's
we'll see
crazy,
where
man.
it is crazy, and it's true what they say, man. I never knew anything about this stuff before I started really learning, and sometimes you almost don't wish you knew the knowledge. Ignorance is
Yeah.
bliss. I want to go back to just not knowing anything and living my life. but,
I know.
it's knowledge is power, though. The more you know, the more you grow, and you have a great group of people around you is a huge thing too. You need supporters. You need just constantly be. I like to reference the ladder thing, man. Constantly climb the ladder. Once you get to the top, you think you're up there, though. It just keeps growing. Keep moving forward. Some people like to stay on the bottom 2 rungs, but that thing has more than 2 rungs. And don't just settle for. There's going to be naysayers out there. There's going to be people that are in your way. Just put them behind you and move forward. The smaller your group, sometimes the better. It doesn't have to be a big group all the time. Like I can't remember who exactly, but if you're the smartest person in the room, you got to find a new room. You got to start
Yep.
learning something. Especially I'm not getting any younger out here, so it's good to see young people getting involved like yourself. Though it's awesome. I love to see it.
Thank you very much, man. I definitely, kind of want to like spread as much of this kind of knowledge, along to especially other people, similar to like our age. Even you
Yeah,
yourself, you get a couple of years on me, but like you're still
yeah,
super young, bigger picture, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like just to kind of like pass on the knowledge and because like, stemming back to something you said earlier, like we don't learn this stuff in the school system, like for a reason.
yeah.
Like you have to go out and find this kind of stuff, but when you find it, man, like
Yeah,
things
he
can change,
changes.
like, and not even for just you, like your family, like your friends, like it's the
Yeah,
sky's the limit, and like you said about climbing the ladder, like, you reach a certain spot, like, oh, that's really good. You're on a good path. But there's like 10 more rings or rungs that you can do like this year, man. Like, come on,
yeah,
you can always
yeah.
keep pushing.
You got to break the chains of poverty, man. There's too many families that have just been stuck
There
in
is.
poverty generation after generation. And like you said, you can change lives. You can produce some serious generational wealth with just a little bit of understanding and just trying something new. Get out of your comfort zone, man. You gotta try new stuff. If you're gonna, it's comfort is it's like a salary. A paycheck's a comfort zone, man.
Yep.
It's great. Don't get me wrong. You gotta produce some type of income, but you gotta try something else and just keep moving forward. And I'm always trying to learn new things and the new technology, in the trades. There's just always something new coming out. We got LED lights and, smartphones control this and that. And it's, I used to walk around the job site with friggin' rolled up sets of prints. Now I have an iPad that has more information on it than it's incredible what I can store on it, from, using Excel to, all these different CAD files. And I 3D walk through my building with a controller on my iPad and I can see the job before it's built. It's incredible.
Yeah. It really is crazy, man. It totally is.
Yeah, dude, it's awesome. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff to take in at once too, though. But it's I got a lot of young kids with me. I got a couple of 21, 22-year-old kids that are already in the market, man. They're investing, they got future plans, and it's
It's
like,
awesome.
yeah, it's awesome to see it. I never got into it that young, but the past is the past. You move on to the future.
Yeah. Honestly, man, like I feel like life's just kind of way too short to just like work your entire life, I mean,
Yeah.
like, if you like your job, like, that's fantastic. But I mean, chances are, you know, the majority of people would rather be doing something else that makes them happy.
Yeah.
I wanted to say this earlier, but I forgot. I forget who said the quote, and the number changes all the time. It's another one that's posted on Instagram, like,
Yeah.
24/7.
Yeah.
But
Right.
it's like the average millionaire has 6 streams of income
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
something like
Yeah.
that. And
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
just even looking at it like bigger picture, like how many people are, unfortunately, struggling like to pay bills and stuff like
Oh,
that. And
it's sad, the
like,
poverty level, man.
yeah. And even it might have even been in The Intelligent Investor. I don't know. I don't know off the top of my head. I haven't read that in a while, but like that book was such a foundation with this kind of thing that like, if you have just work, what happens if, God forbid, you have to get unemployed or you get fired or, laid off or whatever. Like all of a sudden you have nothing. Like what are you
Yeah.
gonna do? Like how's your family gonna eat?
Yeah.
But like to see, like this kind of information and like just have it sound so simple. Like, oh, just go and make more assets. Like
Yeah.
just dump money into stocks. Like you literally just have to shovel money and like there's no like control over it. I mean, it's dependent on your
Yeah.
strategy and stuff, but
Yeah. 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 Exactly.
like that's something else that, all right, like building over time and stuff like that. Like you may not have it now, but now you're gonna have a reserve for, if things didn't really go too well with your day job or whatever, and like you have something else, you're more diverse. So like
Yeah.
just to kind of see like it's it's really like uncomfortable to see how much this information isn't spread like
It
across
is.
the population. Like I
No,
said, like you have to like find this information. Like
no,
that's kind of
this
messed up, you know?
you do. You got to research it out, man. It's everybody's too focused on TikToking and Netflixing and
Yeah,
want to know, you know.
that's the
I can
norm.
go to
Yeah.
work tomorrow, and 90% of the people know every Kardashian and their family and what's
Yeah.
going on with it, but nobody knows what, the simplest things. It's unfortunate, but people are very materialistic, and they take what they like and stuff, But I mean, if that's what they enjoy in life, they enjoy buying the boats and the cars and doing that, and I'm sure a lot of people like I work with a lot of guys. Our retirement age is 58. They get to retire at 58, and they leave very very wealthy and do very well for themselves. And I'd like to leave at 45 and be able to go on vacations the rest of my life, and have
Yeah.
making money while I'm sleeping with my assets, and it's the possibilities definitely on the table. The biggest thing is we were never taught that retirement is not an age; it's a number.
Yeah.
You go by that 4% rule. I mean, yeah, maybe it's up to 5% rule now, but you just got to figure out how much you need every year. And it's mind blowing to tell somebody, hey, if you need 80 grand a year and you follow the 4% rule, okay, you need a $2 million account and you can pull that out every year. And you're going to grow it by 7-10%. So you're pulling out four, you're still gaining 3 to 4% with the market. And you're going to have down. I mean, I read an article the other day on I don't know where it was posted, but a couple in 1991 that retired with 50K. I mean, 500K in their account, because the guy was a financial money manager, and he's like, wait a minute, I'm working and I have more money than the money I'm managing for retired people right now, and the other thing too is, there's once you get good at the market, you can start picking out some like, potential stocks, like right now, a real hot market with federal legalization coming around the corner is marijuana stocks, so it's something to really get into. There's one company that I'm really excited about that, I've been researching a lot out of Florida called Jushi Holdings, that they're, still a small cap company. This company's been around since like 2018. They're doing phenomenal, man. They're in like 6 states. They're making acquisitions. They're buying other small companies. They're up to like 775 plus employees now. Yeah, dude, they're doing great, man. The owner of this company, Eric, he's got 20 years in the banking system. So like, this is a guy that understands the market. He didn't just start up a company and know nothing about the stock market, because you got a little bit of that going on. So they're not failing, but they don't understand the financial system. And it's a tough one, because without federal legalization, this is an all cash business right now. They can't use the American banks. It's crazy, man.
Yeah. I know that's a really interesting, market to see where it goes, emergent market,
Yeah, I would
just to kind of
definitely
see,
say so.
like what goes in their favor and like what doesn't. And like, it's going to be very interesting, to kind of see how that goes. And in terms of like how they have to like adapt their business model to, keep succeeding, and still obviously stay within the law and all that fun stuff. And
Yeah, no, it's tough. I mean, realistically, per federal law right now, the feds could come in and raid any of these facilities. There's
yeah,
kind of an agreement that they made. They're going to leave the states alone. But I mean, you got 16 states that have legalization for recreational use. You got 35 that have medical. So I mean, this thing's expanding at a high rate. I want to say I think the number in 2020 was a 40% growth rate from 2019. The market was $21 billion in 2020. They're predicting this in 2025 to be around 35 to 45 billion.
oh
So I
my
mean,
god,
that's a huge market, man. There's
yeah.
a lot of potential there. And a lot of these companies are small. There's a couple right here in Massachusetts. You got your Cura Leaf, True Leaf, I think's in Massachusetts. So they're all over. A lot of them are riding the Canadian market right now because of the federal regulations and stuff. But and they got to do multi-tiered systems, because they have to have cultivation in the same state that they're manufacturing and producing, because they can't cross state borders with it yet. So it's unfortunate. You go out to California right now, you can get this stuff. It's less expensive because it's grown outside. They got the climate for it, where you can't grow it in the wheat. It snows here. The weather's just, we're not in the climate zone for that.
No.
So they have to get these $1 million facilities with all this elaborate systems. But they're making it happen. There's a lot of small startups out there. And, the edibles market's blowing through the roof. And I think something they got to keep control of it is still educate the miners on just it's definitely a good money making market right now for people to be in, but we got to still, keep out for the youth and make sure that, they're not getting too focused on this. Cause at the end of the day, it is still a drug product, or,
Yeah.
they got it classified definitely in the wrong category, but it's good for medical reasons. Definitely. I'd rather see somebody, smoke a joint than pop a perk or an oxy any day. I mean, we can see the epidemic in this country from that, it's so. But
Yeah.
it's good to watch it grow, Juicy. But yeah, they're one of my favorite companies. I'm pretty excited about them.
Yeah. Yeah. That's going to be really cool to kind of see where that goes.
Definitely.
It's been really interesting too to see like how much like it's expanded in the past even like 5 years, with
Oh,
like different states legalizing it and for different things, and like just lots of crazy stuff going on,
yeah. You got Oregon. Was it Oregon this year? They passed all drugs legal in their state. They're like, yeah. So I mean, Portugal did it back. I don't remember how many years. It's been a few years, but Portugal did it, and they have a lot of crime went down because of it. Because I mean, the taboo's not there. It's like
Yeah,
anything in this country. When you want it more when it's illegal. So
exactly.
that's why you got a bunch of 16-year-old kids running around drinking booze and stuff.
Yeah.
But, no, it's good though. But the investing's really going well. The health and fitness, and I think some of the top things too. I really focus on eating foods that are good for your mind and your brain too. There's some real good stuff out there. That I think something to focus on too is brain health goes with investing health in my mind, at least, because if you're not thinking clearly, you might not be making the right moves. So I try to incorporate a lot of the foods that are like good for you. Our brain's made up of 60% fat, so a lot of people are on these crazy diets where they try to eliminate fat from the diet. And, you need you need your avocados, your fishes to get the omega-3 because, they've linked a lot of this food to Alzheimer's disease, getting rid of it. And there's a lot of research, people that they basically dry up their brain when they don't eat some of the stuff, and so, some of the top brain foods, you got avocados out there, broccoli, blueberries, coffee's a good stimulator. It has serotonin in it, gets your brain focused.
Sweet. That's good to know.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
I'm drinking that every day.
Yeah. In moderation though, not, nothing too crazy.
Yeah.
It's kind of what I use for like a pre-workout. I use coffee. I don't do any like I said earlier, I don't do anything crazy. I don't do any pre-workouts. I don't do any supplements. I mean, I take a protein powder that's it's a vegan protein powder, right? It's made out of peas. Peas have all the amino acids that like a whey protein has. So, you got to make sure you get the right strains when you're doing this stuff of amino acids and stuff. And but yeah, it's you just got to make sure you're eating the right food. Just staying healthy. It's huge. It'll change your life. I'm telling you.
It's honestly a huge eye opener for me personally, man. Like hearing you talk about this and like seeing the pictures and stuff, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Like I have to figure out something with, diet and exercise and stuff because, never really worried about it. You know what I mean? And just to kind of hear like the impact that it can have on like other aspects of your life it's crazy. That's really interesting.
It's work. Don't get me wrong. It's not easy too. I spend a lot of my Sunday afternoons prepping for the week, and I'm up cutting friggin' fruits and vegetables at nighttime, getting them ready. I take 7 containers and 2 lunch bags to work because you got to incorporate all this stuff. And but I stay very in those. I keep those patterns, man. Stay disciplined. Stay in that pattern, and we're gonna continue this journey. And we're not stopping right now.
Nope.
That's it's almost hiking season again, so we're gonna get up to New Hampshire, do some mountains up there. It should be pretty exciting. I love going up there for hiking. There's nothing better than spending 6 hours a day climbing a mountain to see that view, and you just feel accomplished, man. It's awesome. You gotta, if you haven't been up there, you gotta go up there and do one. It's incredible.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is awesome, man. It's just being well-rounded too, just gaining knowledge in all different aspects of life, and building off different people, all the older people too, a lot of these people can teach you, they can mentor you, your different things. And I reach out to actually, fellow podcast you had on the show, Eastside Properties down in my area. The guy, he's awesome. I lost his name for a second here, but
Mark.
Yeah, Mark. Yeah, Mark. Yeah. Awesome. I got him on text message all the time. Because I reach out to him for information. He's been doing the game for a while, so as I'm trying to get into real estate a little bit, and he's filled with knowledge. He's at that point, man. He's successful. He's made it to he's made it up, and he just keeps pushing. Doesn't let his foot off that gas pedal. And I'm watching houses fly up in the area, and it's exciting to watch somebody grow like that in general. He's a motivator, man.
He is, definitely.
The people will see these pictures of me, and at work, people are like, holy shit, you're motivating me. I got older guys that got 10, 20 years on me that, I'm motivating them to do better things and just try different things. And, 10 years ago, if you told me I was going to be sitting down at lunch, eating the food I am now, I'd have laughed in your face. It changes you, but it's, coronavirus was, an unfortunate event, but I got 2 months off of work, man. I hammered the books. There's some great information. There's buffettsbooks.com is it's a website with like a curriculum style class system that it has nothing to do with Warren Buffett, but somebody made the system, and it breaks down how to figure out how companies are worth, because as much as the market rides on speculation, each stock truly does have an intrinsical value that you have to figure out. That's how you're going to buy that dollar for 60 cents, as Warren Buffett would say, and his buddy there, Charlie Munger. I mean,
yep.
that's the hardest part, I think, when you really start to get to the actual stock picking is, you got to look at the past 10 years of revenue, income, the EBITDA of a company, to see what they did. And then you got to predict the next 10 years. Are they going to continue that growth? Are they going to stop growing? So it's tough. And then you got to make an educated decision on your research that you've done, and you hope that you made a successful decision so that, and people 20 years ago that bought Amazon didn't know where it was going to be today, and now they're all sitting on a beach somewhere because they don't have to work at all. It's incredible. Google's, I mean, when I graduated high school, Google is just starting out. If I threw $1,000 in, man, we wouldn't even, I'd probably be somewhere. I'd have a palm tree in my background right now.
Yeah.
It's so there's a lot of cool companies out there. So I've spent the time. I've done some research on some smaller companies, and so I'm gonna try to start up a little YouTube channel. Maybe start educating some people and stuff. Right now, I just got the Instagram. I kind of just started posting on it, but we're gonna try to get better at it, build on it, do like some investor stuff, some food, wealth, I got some nice running motivation videos I'm going to start posting up there, just try to get people off that couch and just feeling better, man. You'd be surprised when you're, some days when I come home, I'm stressed out, I just throw those shoes on and just take off, and you just burn it right out of you,
Yeah. I love that, man. That's incredible.
It's good stuff, man. It's good stuff. It's all awesome.
So I guess what's kind of your why, when it comes to, like the investing and the fitness and stuff, like what kind of goes through your head, like if, like we were just saying, like you don't have like the best day at work or, what have you, like just to put those shoes on and go, and not to.
My why, I guess, would be, I don't really know. I guess my why would just be to I wanted to improve my entire life. You know what I mean? I have, my wife's my best friend, basically. I was fortunate enough to find an incredible relationship at a young age. I've been with her for 22 years. It's pretty incredible. We met freshman year of high school, and we've been kicking it off since. She's always been by my side, and I guess she would be one of my whys, definitely. My health was sinking, and I'm like, man, I'm looking like if all goes south, I'm leaving her alone, and she has family, but we have built this incredible life together. And it's, she's definitely one of my whys that I always push through for, change my lifestyle for, and won't look back at it, and so that's definitely keeps me motivated, going, always trying to push forward to accelerate our life. My financial freedom, that's definitely one of my whys. I just want to not be able to, I don't want to walk out that front door in the morning and have to, I want to just be here doing things like, not staying in the house. I want to be able to travel this amazing country, check out all these beautiful parks, and throw us in an RV and travel around. I got to walk out that front door and look at her, and you never know what's going to happen, man. We having this podcast right now, I might not be here tomorrow, unfortunately. It's just, that's how life is. So it's, every day you leave that house and you jump in. The most dangerous thing we do in life is drive a vehicle to work. It's the most accidents happening. And I've seen 3 guys in the past year, unfortunately, die on job site. I didn't witness it. I didn't see them. I'm sorry. I've heard about them. One guy was in our company. It's unfortunate. And you never know. Just the simple mistakes in life. It could be somebody texting and driving. So she's definitely pushed me a lot of the way. She's always been there to just say, "Hey, straighten up, get going. Yeah, what are you doing? You're off track." Like we were saying with that plane earlier, man. She puts me back on. Gets me off that 1 degree chart, puts me back on 0.
Yep. Yeah. I couldn't agree more. There was something that it actually just kicked back into my head. It was something that Mark said when I was interviewing him about what was it? I just lost it.
There's a lot going on.
It was, how many Fridays do you have left in your life? And he was telling me, he was running me through it. And it honestly, it really got me thinking, man. He's like, so the average, age to live until is 85, like just throwing random numbers out there.
Yeah.
If that's the average, subtract your age and then, multiply like the amount of years by, 52 or,
Yeah,
whatever the calculation is to see like, roughly like how many Fridays do you have left in your life? How
that's
many
a crazy,
weekends do you have left? And
that's
it
a crazy
really has
thought.
perspective like that, man. Like
Yeah,
Mark got me thinking. Like,
yeah, that's pretty deep right there.
yeah,
That's a good one right there. Yeah, I
it
mean,
hits hard because like you're not gonna get that Friday back. You know what I mean? Like,
at the end of the day,
you
you
know,
don't get the one thing in life you can't buy is time, man. You can have look at Steve Jobs. You can have all the money in the world. You're not buying time.
no,
So live every day like it's your last. Make it precious. Don't go to bed angry. That's a huge thing, man. Go to bed happy. Wake up happy. Like everything's just noise in the background. Push that shit behind you and move forward. I mean, I just watched a small little, I think it's all over Insta too, I think it's Keanu Reeves, they asked him, what happens when you die? And he said, I do know that the people that love us will miss us, so that's, it's right along those guidelines, I like the Friday thing though. That makes you really think about life right there though. That's a good one, man. That's crazy.
it does, man. The way he explained it too, I recommend, like text him or asking him about it. He
Yeah,
explained it
definitely.
a lot better than I did, but
Yeah.
man, like,
I'll definitely reach out to him on that one. He's like I said, he's been a good mentor to build off of. I think I helped my brother. My brother's an electrician too. And he did a lot of work for Mark, so I've helped him on one or two Mark's projects. So and I'm always trying to get some of those houses for him too. So
yeah,
always chasing that work.
always, man,
You
always
got
climbing the rungs on the ladder, right?
Yeah, that's it, man. I love the ladder, man. I love it. You can knock me back down. Listen, I've been knocked down the ladder, man. I worked for a company for 10 years. I was on the top of the ladder. I got smacked down to the bottom, started over again. That ladder just keeps going. There's some people that would stay down in that pit and that dark hole, but you get back up and you move forward.
You're
There's
right.
people that, you can either complain or you can go. I love and I move.
Yeah, you're
Like shake
totally
and
right.
bake, baby. Shake and bake.
Yep. Yeah. I couldn't agree more about, it definitely is, kind of hard when you get knocked down the ladder, but like to get
Yeah,
back up. But once you get back up and keep moving, like
that's
you're
it.
a little bit tougher than you were before, like your skin's thicker and like you're like, all
Yeah.
right, whatever about that. Like I'm ready for the next thing. Like, let's go.
Yeah,
Like
you
you
build
can't let
on
it stop you.
you build on those uncomfortable situations, man. At work, it's part of work. You gotta fire people, lay people off, man. That sucks watching, just the heartbreak when you look at somebody. But man, that's an uncomfortable situation that'll make you stronger. Sometimes there's just people you don't work well with, and you got to have conversations with them. And there's things you don't want to talk about in life, but when you do it, every one of those conversations makes you stronger in life.
Yeah. Yeah. I
It's
couldn't
all
agree more.
Yeah, no, it's good stuff right there.
It does. Always, learning lessons and growing,
Yeah,
especially when everything's kind of hitting the fan and just getting back
yeah,
up stronger and coming back harder.
yeah. Try to be the bigger man too. Sometimes, man, people are just you don't know what's happening in life too with people at home. Why they're acting out, and
Yeah.
you don't know what their back story is. So you just try to. My wife always tells me, man, kill people with kindness. And when I get mad and I just want to blow your top a little bit. She says, "Hey, just kill them with kindness." And man, I'll tell you what, it works every time. They're like, "Why is this guy being so nice?" Jesus,
Yeah. Kindness is sustainable.
it is, man, and it makes you feel better at the end of the day too. So
It does. It definitely is tough in the moment, though. Very tough sometimes.
I'm Irish. I'm an Irish guy. I know. It's tough sometimes, but I got a good supporting group around me of friends and family. So
Yeah. Yeah, that's huge.
yeah, it definitely is.
So, Doug, I did want to ask you, how do
Yeah.
you define wealth? I know we've talked about, kind of a good amount of stuff, but
Yeah, how do I define wealth? I mean, I guess some people would consider wealth like monetary value or money. I don't think that's really wealth in life. You know what I mean? Money, like we said, you can't buy happiness. And I mean, I guess at the end of the day, it can buy a lot of stuff that can make you happy. But what, for temporary purposes? I mean,
yeah.
wealth to me is just living life and being able to actually enjoy it. Sitting down at dinner and having meaningful conversations that actually, something you can elaborate on. When I pull in this driveway and my wife's at the front door waiting for me because she's happy to see me. I mean, that's
That's
wealth.
pure. Yeah.
Yeah, that's wealth in life
That's
right there.
real.
Man.
Yeah.
Money can be made. I mean, that's riches. Money's riches. When it comes to wealth, it's your true happiness. It's not having a freaking $1 million in the bank and 5 houses and all that stuff. That you can lose that stuff just as fast as you can gain that stuff. But
You're right.
some people don't ever find true wealth, true happiness. They spend their whole life chasing it and they can't find it. And you just got to grasp it and hold on to it. And I'd say that's true wealth for me. Just enjoy life, the happiness, and being able to just have good conversations with people. And that would be the best for me, I'd say.
Yeah. It scares the hell out of me, to kind of see people that like haven't really found that happiness, and it's
Yep.
just, I don't know. It's just like really scary to kind of see that. Like life is way too short, and like just to kind of see somebody who's miserable is tough. Especially like seeing this kind of information, like, as young as we are, and like somebody who may not have kind of found out about some of this, much earlier on. And I don't know, it's tough, I feel like it's huge to just spread the knowledge. And
Yeah, some people get stuck down in that dark, deep hole, man, and they just can't climb out. I've seen it happen. Unfortunately, people that take their lives early in life because they can't find their way, they can't find their path, and it's terrible to watch it happen too. I've seen it. I'm a young guy, and I've seen it happen too much too, and it's that's one thing I really like about Jordan Peterson. The guy's he's a clinical psychiatrist, 30 years studying the brain, man. He's got some great knowledge out there, some good books, Maps of Meaning, the 12 Rules of Life, and he's really changed a lot of people's life by the big question out there: what is the meaning of life? What are we doing here? And he'll give you an elaboration on how to think about it and stuff, and it's interesting. But yeah, it's unfortunate to see people like that. They're just down on their luck. And I work in the city, man. I see people sleeping on benches as I'm walking to work, homeless, and it's you don't know where they came from, what happened to them in life, and you always think to yourself, why can't they change or turn themselves around? And it's just part of life, I guess.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah, it is, man. It is. It's terrible.
Yep. So I know we were kind of talking about Jordan Peterson's podcast a little before the show, but like I was wondering if you could just kind of like jump into that again, so like some other people could kind of hear about that too, because I know I'm definitely going to check it out, like a little bit about.
He's got he's a clinical psychiatrist. He's a teacher up at a college in Canada, and some people label him as an extremist. He's just a scientist. He believes in science. He studies the brain, and he does a lot of good educational, a lot of theory. He talks about societies and how just things that aren't good for us and how we're changing. But he runs a podcast. He's got a lot of good stuff with Joe Rogan and him on their podcast together. But he elaborates on different things of life. Just working and just people stuck down in that deep dark hole too. Like he's got some good stuff out there. I would definitely. I'm in the middle of one of his books right now, Maps of Meaning, and he goes through anxiety and just different scenarios of how your body works with your brain and how people panic and just get freaked out and put himself in that place. And one of the biggest things, one of the things I took out of that he talks about is he had a case study that just lived in a terrible environment, a bad household, and he told the kid, real dirty household and stuff, just terrible people, and go home, make your environment nice, clean your room, something as basic as cleaning your room. And the rest of the household freaked out on him. What do you think, you're better than us? And the reaction is incredible. You're like, holy shit. I'd definitely check him out, man. Anybody listening to this podcast, check him out. He's YouTube. He's on Insta now. He does it all. He does some a lot of good stuff, But he's got a lot of followers. He wears this nice pristine suit, and he's on the carnivore diet right now. He only eats beef, beef and water.
Wow.
Yeah, it works for him, But that's you'll hear that on the podcast if you check it out. It's pretty exciting to listen to because it's different. I haven't heard of it before.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to check that one out. It's always nice to hear some, different podcasts and different views on things other than the Biggerpockets podcast.
Yeah, everybody,
I've recently
awesome.
kind of branched out to, some other ones, but yeah, it's always nice to kind of hear a little bit of a different perspective about some different things as well.
Yeah. No, a good investor one that I like to listen to. It's a value investing podcast. Is the Stansberry Report. They do it every, I think, Thursday night, but they're like true value investors. They talk about the market and stuff. About an hour long show, and I like to touch on them every week. The Stansberry Report. Yeah, they're pretty good.
Yeah, that one sounds pretty good too.
Yeah,
I've
definitely.
touched into I think it's Masters of Business. I think it's like a Bloomberg one.
Yeah.
I've hit that one once in a while. That one's okay.
Yeah, they're popping up everywhere. There's some good ones. Everybody's that's the awesome thing about all this technology is the knowledge is getting out there, and you can listen to it or you can get hung up on watching, chicks in bikinis dance on TikTok, over and over, which, if that's your thing, then go for it, have at it, boy, but it's, you can pick up a lot of knowledge from all this stuff too. Some incredible older people out there that have been in real estate, been in investing, that just are spreading it, and you also got your spam out there. They're trying to, come over here for $7 and I'll teach you how to make $1 million. That's speculation, man. Speculation loses money. It doesn't make money. That's why I don't buy stocks. If people tell me, I'm riding up the elevator at work and they're like, "Hey, go buy this." No, stay away.
That kills me, man. Like, just to kind of see, because like, like, just like, it's kind of something out of emotion. Like, oh, dude, this like Dogecoin thing is pretty cool. Like, you should buy into it, like.
The Doge has been all over the place with Elon Musk. Oh my God.
It's probably, from the foundation of books like The Intelligent Investor, that tell you to really like dig into it and look at like the PE ratios and like, actually like do your homework on the company, like read through the financials, like do the due diligence and see if it's, actually something you want to get into instead of like, oh, I like the Coke logo. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
then it's gambling. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, it's simple. Keep it simple too. What's around you? I walk around job sites. Everybody bangs down Monster energy drinks. So I started looking at Monster stock. I'm an electrician. We install generators, so I started looking at generator rack. I mean, your HVAC, Carrier Controls, Carrier Equipment. They've been around 100 years. They're a great dividend builder too.
Yeah.
But it's good to elaborate on.
I feel like a big thing too, that you kind of just mentioned was to keep it simple.
That's
it. Like it's only as complicated as you make it. Like the more knowledge you want to get, like that's fantastic. You'll have a little bit more background, but like, depending on, like your choices and your criteria and stuff like that, like you might not really have to dig that deep, and you might be satisfied with like a certain amount of information that you have. That's awesome. But if you wanted to dig deeper, then there's always more to discover. Like don't get overwhelmed. That's definitely something that I struggled with and still do once in a while.
Yeah, you get sidetracked once in a while. I mean, Peter Lynch, he's another great investor. He ran the Fidelity Fund for, I don't know, 9 years. I think he did a 29% turnover for 9 years straight. Incredible. He says, if you can't explain to an 8-year-old in 10 seconds why you own a stock, you shouldn't own the stock. And, it's true, like, why do you, it's like you said, keep it simple. We do that with the food too. Keep the food simple. I'm not over here making dishes with 17 different spices and, I rinse broccoli and eat it,
We call it done. Yeah.
Keep it simple. The more complicated you make it, the harder you get. You're more prone to fail,
Yeah, I feel like it can be a little more frustrating too, and like you might actually lose interest, like the more complicated that you make something like that.
No, it's true because you start jumping all over the place and everything.
And then you're like there's so much to do, and like I can't do this, and the doubt starts setting in, and like it turns into a nightmare. And you're like, dude, you could have just opened up, a bag of broccoli, rinsed it off, and called it done. Like,
yeah. Open a can of tuna, eat it. It's fine. Your body just needs fuel. You don't need friggin' to get crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good stuff though.
Doug, thank you so much for coming on the podcast, man. I could honestly talk to you for hours. Like, I don't even know what time it is or anything. I don't care. Like, I could literally just keep talking to you for hours.
No, it's good, man. I love it. I love talking. I like just educating, talking about stuff, and I appreciate you having me on too. If I tell you what though, I'm gonna just leave you with a book too, man. If
sure, yeah.
We're gonna sidetrack from investing. I want you to check out, if you haven't, The Impossible Climb by Alex Honnold. I don't know if you know about the guy at all, but he's the guy that scaled El Capitan in Yosemite National Park free, no ropes, nothing. The guy is incredible, man. It just shows that whole, fear is mental, pain is real. This guy is an incredible athlete that just shut his brain off and climbed a 3,000-foot vertical cliff in a couple hours. The only person to ever do it in history. But check it out. Otherwise, thanks for having me, Kyle. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, that book sounds definitely crazy. The pleasure is all mine, man. Is there anywhere on social media and stuff that the people can see?
I'm on Conley Douglas right now, and I'm gonna start up a financial shock and results channel. So once I get it, I'll throw it on the website. We'll go from there, man.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that, man. Guys, check out some of Doug's progress pictures from one of his journeys of many. They're absolutely incredible.
Yeah. All right, thanks, Kyle. Have a good night.
All right, guys, that concludes our Creating Wealth podcast episode for today. I want to thank every single person that has listened this far. It really means a lot to know that people can learn from me and with me as we build wealth together. Hopefully you can take home at least one thing from this podcast that will improve your life just a little bit. If you could, please check me out on social. That's at Kyle Curtin Real Estate on Instagram, Facebook, and I'm on Biggerpockets. Until next time, let's build together.